Hi, it is Mickey here from A Pretty Talent, and where we use our God-given talents to make the world a pretty place. Now, previously in the introduction video, I have shown you this canvas, which it's a pre-used canvas, which I've treated with gesso. And then I did record a previous video, one preceding this, where I showed you how to paint this, or how I painted this with this metallic craft paint. But something went wrong with that recording, and it's lost. So, nonetheless, I did put a very thin layer of this metallic craft paint over the white gesso. This is not a great paint. It is a very transparent paint with very little pigment. And if you want to thoroughly cover a canvas, you're going to have to work way harder than what I worked with this metallic paint. However, seeing as most of this is going to be covered with collage papers, if not everything, then most of this is going to be covered. That probably is not going to be an issue. What I did not want is if I were to work with a transparent or semi-transparent medium like a tea bag, or the white part of a serviette, something which in the process becomes completely transparent or semi-transparent. I did not want the stark white of the gesso below that item. So giving this layer of paint gives me a little bit more freedom in my choice of papers that I use on top of this canvas. As I'm saying this, I'm kind of changing my mind about what I wanted to do here. And this whole thing about the paint may become completely obsolete as a result. But okay, let's see how we go, because the process of collage is one of change of mind. Let's start first with the inspiration for this, this section in the art journaling process. It is Philippians 4 verse 1 that has inspired us, and I have simply put this at the back of the canvas. Now, this was previously numbered and whatever it is, and I didn't bother to delete it. It's in pencil. To me, that becomes part of the character of the canvas. It talks about the history of the canvas. So I simply wrote over this. Philippians 4 verse 1, Therefore, my brothers and sisters, you whom I love and long for, my joy and crown, stand firm in the Lord in this way, dear friends. Now, there's so much going on in this verse. It talks about the family of God. It talks about koinonia, belonging to each other in God, being responsible for each other in God, standing in relationship with each other in God, and that we, in our service to each other, not our leadership, in our service to each other, we become those whom we serve. Hear me when I say this, because we get it wrong. Not those whom we lead. As ministers of God's word, whatever your ministry is, you are called to serve. And then those whom you serve, they become your source of joy in the world and the crown with which you are crowned. This is not going to be a physical crown. This is not going to be an acknowledgement of your actions. It's an acknowledgement of those who've been entrusted to you. That is a crown to you. And then this call for steadfastness, stand firm in the Lord, and calling them friends. There's a whole sermon in this, and I don't want to get sidetracked. So in any case, I'm just going to leave it at that. I might write this at the top of the canvas as well, but I like the idea that it's here at the back of the canvas. Right, so having said that, I figured I'm going to use this guy. This is Gregory Peck. My generation will not know him any longer. I know that because it says there, Gregory Peck. But I know my parents and my grandparents swooned over Gregory Peck and Ava Gardner. They were Susan Hayward and so forth and so on. Yeah, they were all the rage back in the day. And movie stars, of course, movie stars. I kind of like the idea of using this guy's face here. I think he's just unfamiliar enough for me to be able to use him as a focal point on my collage. If this had been, I don't know, a Brad Pitt or something like this, someone who's still very known and very familiar, I would not do so. But obviously he's got some really good facial features, and I think I could get away with it. So why? The reason why I want to do this is because this is about that ministry to people. I also like these female faces that are kind of disappearing a little bit into the background. I might use those as well. I don't know. It's going to be a little difficult. But it's about relationship between people. About that brotherhood, about that koinonia. And so I figured I've got to have people at the center of this collage. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. I might use something else. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, I like these. I might use these. Okay, anyways. So that's one thing. Okay, so if that is an option, here's an idea for how to use that. Let me separate that. Now I'm going to, instead of cutting this out, I'm going to retain. Oh, this might not work. I think there's a bit of a, let me just see. I think there's a bit of a treatment to the page. Yes. So the water is just sitting on top of the paper. It's not seeping in. It might with time, but I'm not that patient today. So let me rather then come in with my scissors and fussy cut this guy. Now I would have liked a torn edge, sorry, which is a little softer. But that is not an option now, so be it. Ha. I'm trying to work carefully here. I've got a frog in my throat now. Because I want to try and retain the orange parts in case I do want to go back and use these faces of the female figures. I doubt I will, but I don't want to take the option away for no good reason. If I don't use it here, I might very well use it somewhere else. And so just working a little bit carefully to get it done. Okay, that one I can let go. Right. Oh, he's quite handsome, this guy. Well, I guess that's how he became famous, isn't it? Right. So he fits the canvas rather nicely. But the question is, what do we do? What do we do with all of these others? I want to keep those separate. Okay. So we've got a lot of papers here that we could use. You see, the other idea is that you could use something like this rather than a person. But given the passage, because I originally thought I'd be going for these kinds of pictures, but yes, again, given the passage, possibly a better idea to go with the person. Now, I do like this fish. Oh, I love that bird. Oh, and that one, but in any case, okay. Take that off. I like the fish, and I like the fish because we were called to be fishers of men. And so, now again, this is a treated paper. Let me remove this. So what I'm checking at the back is that I'm not cutting into that, because I might want to use that still. I don't know. Oh, look at this. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, there are so many fantastic images and things that one could use. Okay, well, we've got to make decisions. We've got to restrict ourselves to certain things. Shall I again? Yes, let me cut out this image. We are fishers of men. And so I shall use the fish. And the early church used the symbol of the fish. When they were being persecuted, they would draw the symbol of the fish. You probably know this, but in case you don't, I'll just tell the story. While they were being persecuted, in order to know each other as being fellow believers, Christians, they would draw a symbol of a fish in the soil, and then rub it out again to identify themselves to each other. So saying I am a child of God, a believer, a Christian, without using words. Ichthus, the Greek word for fish. The pronunciation is probably all off, but in any case. And from that idea of being called to be fishers of men. That is not someone else's ministry. That is the ministry to which we have all been called. All of us. You do not need to be an evangelist or a missionary or a minister of whatever type, pastor, whatever you want to call it. If you're a believer, then you have been called to be a fisher of men. Oh, I like that. You see, now we do have to build this thing up before we start gluing anything down. And once we start building it, it will go rather quickly, presumably. I do want to go back to this one. I like these images. I'm losing stuff on the back, but so be it. can't save everything. I'm going to try and find a way to make this slightly shorter. So I won't let you see me cut out every single figure and shape and whatever it is. At the same time, I can't just not involve you in the process either. Okay, that foot came off, so the foot is off. There's still stuff that I can work with here, so that's kind of cool. I need to kind of show you the process though, isn't it? That's what collaging is all about. Okay, but cut these doodles apart. So I'm kind of thinking they could full space all over. Something like that. And then do I need more? In terms of focal points, probably not. So I'll cut these properly. I'll cut them out properly off screen. You know what, I won't be able to. Oh my goodness, I won't be able to. I'm trying to, but I can't. Because once I start gluing, that's gonna be it. Okay, so we're gonna fussy cut these. I'm gonna play around and see if I can maybe do a speed up here. Why don't I just stop and start again? Okay, so I am back. I also found these two images from those French encyclopedias that I was talking about in the introduction video, and I kind of like these, so I think I'm going to go with these. I see this one is not entirely cut out. Now, I don't know if I will be able to incorporate these in the collage, but if possible, then I would like to. I'm just cutting away a bit of white there. Okay, so when I now start collaging, I am looking for papers that are rather interesting. Oh goodness gracious, I don't know what I'm looking at here. So this is the biology textbook, and it has a number of interesting things which it brings to the table. So let's tear that out, and let's tear that out, and that can become one. I actually want this to wrap. I would love to wrap, otherwise I'm going to do something else. Let me do something else. Okay, I don't like the white here. I don't mind it there, but I don't like it here, so we'll see what I do with that. Okay, maybe I'm just kind of looking for something to repeat. I wouldn't mind this repeating. Let me do this. On this corner. And that might change later on. But for now I'm going to go with it. Okay, so it's the biology book, shame, per book. Then I've got this lovely book. This one had these interesting. Oh, I like this as well. Let me put that one aside for the moment. Let me concentrate on this one. Sure. I like these white. areas, but not for the collage. I'll use that somewhere else. For the collage, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. I'm just trying to get a couple in place first before I start gluing down. Now, here's another one that I like. Really, really like. But this is the better side. Shall I just do this? Let me do that. Don't like the straight edges, so that's what I'm trying to get rid of. I wonder, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, something like that. Now, oh yes, we've got this still. Fantastic. Okay. This as well. Yeah, and there's maps. Don't know if I want to use those images, but they are a possibility. Okay, this German book. Definitely want to bring in some of these pages. Not necessarily the white. Not all the text should go in the same direction. You want to try and avoid that. Okay, and then you've also got this hymnal. Oh, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay, let's just start gluing things down. I've got loads of strips going here. I think it's time we started to put them down. And I am going to try and wrap them around the edges, I think. No, I've got another idea for what I want to do there. Okay, so I'm going to put down a layer of medium, and then I'm going to bring in papers. And as I bring them in, I'm going to start gluing them down. Let's do one there. This is a rather large piece, but I'm going to put it down anyway. It's got a fold. Work with it. Okay, I don't mind the folds. It's going to add a bit of texture. Right, then let's put this bloke I can't think. Oh, there my brush goes off on my desk. Let me just clean it up. Okay. Oh, and I still have the pattern tissue paper as well. Okay, some of these papers are expanding a bit as they wet, and I just need to get them down again. I do want to use the pattern paper. Definitely want to use the pattern paper. I don't want all of this white. I don't want this straight edge. Actually, I don't think I want that either. No, I did like this. Naturally, a lot of this is going to disappear once we put the focal pictures in place. That's just the nature of the game, isn't it? Get rid of these straight edges. It's too many music pages too closely situated. Now, obviously I like music, and therefore I'd like to put every single music paper on here, but who doesn't like music? Right, what haven't I got yet? Shall I put some of these stickers on? Why not? Oh, that one, just lift it. Try again. That's cute. Right, how about a map? Of Arabia, which is in the Middle East, where which is the origin of the gospel, isn't it? Wait. Okay, Okay, so then maybe some more of this, yes, this German writing, just not there. That's a good spot for it. And that's a good spot for it, provided it doesn't face the same way. Right, then, I still don't like that. Put this down here. And I'll put that down there. Now, I still haven't gotten to these pieces that I would love to incorporate. So let me now bring in these. I'm going to wrinkle them up. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. And that'll work. Now, still a tiny spot here that I think I could maybe cover with this paper from the magazine. Yes. Yes. Two, cut and straight there, like that. Now this seems too white to me, and I wonder if I should let it bug me. Now let's bring in our focal figure. I don't want him to have a wrinkle right through the central part of his face, which is happening now because the canvas and all these wet layers of paper aren't accommodating each other too well. This green fish is competing for attention. That's okay, it may. Yes, let's put these. Look at this playful figure. Grabbing a husband's newspaper and using it as I don't know, binoculars or something, looking glasses, I don't know. And a serious figure, hands on hips, taking control. and this very grateful figure hugging the flowers. Stay where I put you. I like this. Now, the question is, these, oh goodness, I'm causing an avalanche here. Do I or don't I incorporate these faces as well? I still want to. I think I can. I think I can. I've got to soften the edges. I think that'll be fun. One more. I don't want these sharp cut edges. Gonna get lots of wrinkles and stuff. That's okay. That's okay. You can wrinkle. I'm gonna put her here. I am gonna put her there. Okay. Who are you? Rita Hayworth, or who are you? I don't know who you are. The words underneath this said, who's who? So I'm wondering who she is. At some point, she was known by all, but that's how life works, isn't it? Known today, gone tomorrow. My tickets became obscured, and I like my tickets. So I'm going to put some tickets back. And I'd say that's done for this part of the doing. But my edges actually don't look too bad. But let's see if we could possibly do something else. Ooh, there goes the tea. Yes. Nice. If we could possibly use this. Oh, come on. Why is this one so sticky? I don't know. And make sure that stays there. Wait, don't fall now. Could I put this here? I think so. Wrapping over, not too much. I think I must do something like this. Let's test. Wait, come on. I like it so far. Yes, I think I'm going to like that. Now I'm not going to let you watch me do that all around the canvas. So I'll do that and then I'll switch back on. Well, I'll wait for this to dry first. Switch back on and show you how we finish this. Hi, okay, so everything is now nice and dry, but I'm kind of second guessing myself about this face. I am concluding that maybe this man is still too prominent, too well known. And in that case, I need to do something to obscure his face. So I thought, how about I bring in this serviette that I've got. If I decoupaged this on here, I love what it says, be free, dream big, love, let love rule, and then this quote, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Now, from a worldly perspective, that's all it is. From a Christian perspective, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So be free to me is living a life that is prioritizing truth, which means prioritizing Jesus. Dream big is allow yourself to be exactly who God created you to be, which will always be bigger, better, more wonderful than you could be on your own. I'm not talking about worldly success. It's not what I'm talking about. Self-actualization is the dream these days. But self-actualization is a lie. You can only be actualized in God. Okay, love is the key word of the Bible, and that does make even this fallen world a wonderful world. So that's kind of what my thinking is about this. And so, well, this is an experiment, and I can't guarantee the outcome of this, but let's see how this turns out if I do that. Ooh, this could be a complete mess now. But if we don't take risks, we gain absolutely nothing. How about not putting it straight? I like that. Well, that's not exactly what it would look like once it's dry, but my initial feeling about this is that I like it. I think it's a step in the right direction. Now, I don't want to wait for this to dry completely. I want to be able to continue working. And with that in mind, I'm looking for my palette knife. I want to put some 3D paste on this canvas. I also have decided that I want to bring this text from the back, Philippians 4 verse 1, onto the front. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, you whom I love and long for. Let's do this. It's my alcohol markers. Let's use this. And I'm going to do this, oh goodness, come on. In black. and with a bullet point. Now I need to write over this, not over the wet, just my hand has nowhere to rest. Let me just check myself. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, you whom I love and long for. Or shall I maybe just take a part of it? No. My joy and crown, stand firm in the Lord. In this way, dear friends, it's an interesting one. In this way, dear friends. And that is Philippians 4 verse 1. Now, I know some might look at that and go, that's taking away from this. I don't think so. And here's how I'm going to kind of make it fit in a bit. Ooh, that's a little bit wet. I'm going to bring this alcohol marker in and just make some marks. Just a little bit of mark making. I'm a little bit restricted at this stage because of the wetness here. I also want to do this. Hey, come on. Maybe I'm making a mess. I guess it's my mess to make, isn't it? Okay, so anyways, let's bring in some stenciling. I need to move this up now. Okay, so 3D paste and these stencils that are part of the parcel. I like that. And even though I've written there, this is going to sound odd, even though I've written there, I'm still going to put some of this 3D paste here, because it's all about the layers. that, and I don't like what it's doing there. And there's a hair caught in this now. Okay, so let's just take that excess away. Oh, I should have brought something to put this on. Now, I want to do a little bit more than just that. Just looking here at what we have available. I like that. I was thinking so they have these kind of 3 images in this set, which I like. And maybe I should go for this, why not? Let's do. Let's check that you can still see what I'm doing. I'll move it slightly over, shall I? Yeah, this is loaded. Okay, let's see how that works. I actually think I do kind of like it. But I also want to do something a little bit more abstract. I'm overdoing it. I'm possibly overdoing it. I tend to. I do want just a little bit of this abstract, but let me restrict myself to how much? Okay, that only. Right, now, also, there was this. I'll show you now. So there's this stencil. And it's a should I, shouldn't I kind of matter. I know I want to. I don't know if I should. If I did, Now, bearing in mind that everything here is wet. Oh, goodness gracious. It would be better to wait till it's dry. Okay, now I really have to stop because I'm enjoying this and I'm not sure that I'm thinking of the picture any longer. I'm just thinking of the process. This needs to dry. Now, the thing about this particular 3D paste is that it does dry more transparent than some others that I've worked with. Which doesn't mean completely transparent. It'll still be white, but it's not quite as white as it is now. I like this. I like that the writing is there, even though I've obscured it. I did want this passage to come to the foreground. And you can still read the whole thing on the back in any case. Now this process is more about the coming to terms with the idea than it is about the art product itself. Now the art product is important, but it's secondary in importance, and so it's more important for me to capture images. So what are the images that I'm going for here? Is I have these roses. Roses represent the love, and that's why I wanted it on the two edges, because it encompasses everything. It includes everything in that love. This abstract pattern is kind of like a cobblestone path, and it kind of reminds me of that being sent out into the whole world to make disciples and teaching them what we've learned, so that they too can come to this full knowledge of God and faith and be set free. And the tree thing that I've got going here is that kind of linking back to the idea of life being created in paradise, that there were trees in paradise, and that the tree of knowledge of good and evil is what has us in this world, but that we have almost a premature taste of the tree of life when we come to faith in Christ, and that we want to share that with others. And then just, some random things to decorate with, but linking to that idea of the crown, you being my joy and crown. This reminds me kind of of the laurels of the Greek and Roman eras, where people were crowned with laurels, and I kind of had that in mind. And so this may seem very random, but in my head, I'm constantly dealing with that passage as I'm creating this and making that come to life. Now, once this is dry, I will be able to say whether this needs more work or not. I do think I want to come back in with gold, either with this or with a rub-on, and bring the gold from the background back to the foreground. You do see splotches of gold still here and there. In any case, we'll see when this is dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, things are dry again, and we can continue with this a bit. Now, I do think my focal point has gone just a little bit too much into the background. I did want to push it back, but maybe it's slightly too much. So what I thought was I'd use this warm grey alcohol marker and just kind of accentuate the facial features again. Now you can see them, but it's become a little bit difficult. So maybe just every here and there, just sort of catch it. And just kind of put this bloke back where he was. It's just some little something like that. I don't know. Yay or nay, I can't really decide whether I like it or not. I'll have to look at this in daylight to know for certain. Now, this or the rub-on. Oh, my rub-on is right here. But it's become a bit obscured by everything else on the desk. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of this. Not sure this is exactly what I want. Okay, but I think I would prefer a little bit more gold. Yeah, now it picks up my background again. And that's what we wanted. Now, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can do some gilding with the gold flakes. You can do foil. I think at some point you also got to say enough and just stop. And I'm now reaching that point where I go, honestly, I think it's enough. I like the gold here. I think I like this. I like this prominent fish here. I like all the different elements that you can see. Yeah. I am going to call this one done. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not sure it's the kind of thing that I want to put up in my house, but then I barely put anything up in my house, so maybe? Maybe I take it to school. And I put it up in my, I've got an entrance to my classroom. And lately I've been putting the stuff that I create up in the entranceway, and it's starting to look adorable. In any case, I'm gonna call this a day for this video. It's been a bit of a task, but it was fun. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.